Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to show you how to install Heidts Welding sway bar for the Mustang 2 suspension.
Sway bar that we're going to put in, and this is not just a bolt-in. You got to do a lot of fabrication to get this set up to go into the car. It's got these heim joint end links, which is kind of cool, something different. Makes it rock solid. And then here's the control arm that we're going to use on the car. They're going to be cleaned up and repainted. But they're, like I said, they're not a direct bolt-in. So to be able to use this, if you look at this heim joint right here, it has to actually bolt into something. So that's what this little tab is for. When I ordered this sway bar, it came with everything I needed except these little tabs. I had to order these separately, and I'm not sure why it doesn't come as part of the kit. Some of the tabs that come on the bar, the lower control arms, are for the old-fashioned. Let me show you those real quick. Some of the control arms that they sell and some of the modern arms come with a tab welded on, and it's something along the lines of this here, and it gets welded on for the old-fashioned rubber polyurethane bolt that goes through. So since we're using the heim joint, we're going to have to actually weld this tab on here. It's going to go ballpark right about here. We're going to put the whole system together to figure out where it's got to be welded, and then we're going to weld it on. And then what happens there is this heim joint right here will get bolted on. I can get it with one hand, and it just goes something like that, and it'll be welded to here, and we'll tighten everything up. So let's start making room. We'll show you what we got to do to clean up the engine compartment, and then we got brackets that we have to put on. I'll show you those brackets here in a second. All right, so now we're going to get ready to put in the sway bar mounting brackets. So these brackets come with the kit, and we got to weld these in. So this is not a bolt-in kit. We're going to have to fabricate things for this kit. So this bracket here is going to be measured from this point to the center of this bracket, and it comes out to 5 5/8 of an inch. And you can see I got a little mark right there. So from here, the front of this reinforcement to there, it's 5 5/8 of an inch. So this bracket has to go right here, and it actually goes up on the bottom of the frame, and then these get welded up, these gussets get welded up to the sides of the frame here. So in order to do that, we have to remove the factory sway bar mounting bracket, and then this bar right here as well. So we're going to take that out on both sides, and that's part of the Mustang 2 suspension here, and we're going to walk you through the steps of putting in the sway bar for it.
Here I'm using a plasma cutter to cut out the existing brackets. Now I'm using an angle grinder to grind out the spot welds. The metal in this section is really thick, so instead of grinding all the metal, I'm just grinding out where I can visibly see the spot welds. And then now I'm using a spot weld cutter, which is like a chisel, and separating the pieces of metal.
So now we got these inside brackets removed. We've got a little bit of weld-through primer from the bottom, and I got some weld-through primer on the bottom part of this. This is going to weld to the bottom of the frame. The rest of it I can get to, and just to explain what's going to happen is this bracket right here is going to slide up underneath and go in just like this. I'm going to match this line up with this line. So it's pretty much going to mount right there. So I'm going to tack that in place on both sides, and then I'll be able to mount my sway bar. The next step from that, suspension at ride height. I know what my ride height is. I'm going to go ahead and tack in my brackets, put the sway bar in, and then I have to weld in a bracket here for the sway bar. But let's put the brackets in for this. Let's mount the sway bar and we'll come back to this.
So here I'm using a scissor jack on a cinder block, and I'm just using that to hold the bracket in place and keep it tight on the metal so I can have a good quality weld. Now I'm just getting ready to put all the hardware on the sway bar. I'm going to put the sway bar to frame brackets on and then get ready to mount the bracket to the frame.
Alright, so now I just want to show, got the tab welded in, and let me show you how the link is going to go on. So the tab is now welded on. It's just tack welded for now. I'm going to take everything apart and then weld it all the way around. But I just wanted to tack it in for now, get it into place. And that's basically what it's going to look like. You want this to be straight up and down as best you can, specifically from this side. The way the bar is made, it's going to lean in just a little bit. But from this side, it's straight up and down on both sides. Both sides we welded this in. And you know, we've got the mount for the sway bar just tacked in. So this was a trial fit to make sure everything fits. And then with this steering arm, it fits perfectly. They did a good job designing this. And then the rack and pinion steering is going to come in and come up from under here, so it's going to be completely out of the way. So basically from this point now that this is in, I'm going to take it back all apart, finish welding this, finish welding the sway bar mount brackets, then we got to paint this, we got to repaint these, and then the bar is done. So that's basically the installation of the bar. You don't need to see me final weld everything. Just real quick to show the top part of what we did. Cut out obviously the frame there. This is their bracket that we tack welded in. We got our mounts and we got the sway bar going across. I'm happy with the fit, so I'm going to take it all apart and we're going to finish welding these in, as well as the little tabs on the control arms, and we're done. Then it's time to just paint it and start getting this thing finished.